What's up, Toledo? What's up to the world? It's DebraSue, Glass City Talent 419, in the studio of Toledo to the world. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in, everyone. For our Facebook users who are tuning in, make sure you come in. You invite others to come in. Make sure you like and share. And by all means, this is also going to run on YouTube under Glass City Talent, Toledo to the world. Make sure you go like, make sure you subscribe, okay? And we need you to share, but I need you to subscribe as well. In the studio today is one of my favorite people. I've known her for a minute or two, I must say. And she is currently rated as one of Toledo's top female MCs. Okay, if you don't know what an MC is, tonight we're going to describe it as a rapper. Okay, a female rapper. If you will, everybody, please help me welcome She Speaks to the studio.
You. Thank you.
Welcome to my seat, young lady. I'm so happy to have you on.
It's my pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, so we're just going to jump right out into this. Okay, I want to hop out front because we only have a half an hour and I have a lot of questions to ask you, and I'm sure you have
Go
plenty to
for it.
say. Okay,
Of course.
so, the very first thing I want to address with you is you are referred to as a rapper. Are you okay with that, or do you prefer to be categorized as something else?
So I consider myself to be more of a lyricist. That is something that I, uh, with intent, have tried to set myself apart by establishing the difference between a rapper and somebody who really takes care with the writing. I try to make sure that I'm giving wordplay, I'm giving bars that make sense, I'm giving, full use of literary devices. And so I try to put a little more intent behind my writing. So
Mm-hmm.
I prefer to be referred to as a lyricist.
A lyricist. And I would highly categorize, suggest that we highly categorize you as the same because I saw you some years back. I want to say probably five or six. And I was absolutely so impressed with how much of a conscious lyricist you are. You actually talk about issues, you talk about what's real to women, you talk about what's real to family life, you talk about what's real in the industry basically. And so to me, you are more than a rapper. You are a conscious lyricist is what I'd like to define you as. But some of the Toledo magazines have you as Toledo female rapper.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the way we're going to end up changing the minds of those individuals because most of it's just out of the lack of knowledge, that's all.
Yeah, it's subjective just to me being a female and people not understanding the difference between the genre of hip hop and the genre of rap and the different levels that it has to be able to say that I'm more of an artist. If anything, I'm also a poet. I do spoken word.
Mm-hmm.
I I'm activist. All of these things that is real true to the culture of hip hop. So if anything, I want to be branded as that.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you something because you are a rarity, at least in Toledo, I want to say, for a woman to do what you do. Now we have female rappers here. We have a couple of poets here, who do the poet life. You have a combination of both. You rap and you instill loyal, poetry in your works as well. How do you feel being categorized as one of the top female MCs here I mean, you're rare basically is what I want to say because you are in a group of men.
Yeah.
What are your feelings on that?
Yeah, I've stood with the best of them. I don't even want to say stood up against, the best of them, male and female. I mean, I feel like I can hold my own against, anybody, around anybody, standing next to anybody because I am confident in my craft. I have studied the art and I'm still a student. So I'm still constantly working at getting better my own self and perfecting my craft. So I'm always working, I'm always writing, even during the times where, it may not seem like I was out here. That's why, I'm fully loaded right now. I could drop again. It
Mm-hmm.
costs money. It costs money, to push projects, but when it comes to having the writing and having the material, I'm gonna always write and I'm gonna always, live this lifestyle because
Mm-hmm.
it's deep in who I am.
And
So
so,
I don't mind.
let's talk about that, because you said something very, very important, because you are a wife, you are a mother, you are a daughter, you are all of those things. And this is not something new for you. You've been in it for a while. How do you get your support system to be such as it is right now today?
Oh, my family, they believe in me, so they try to make sure that I'm in position to win, position to shine, and really gotta take my hat off to my mother, to my husband, to my kids. At my best friend, I got people that have really stood behind me. I don't have like a lot of artists have come into like trying to find financial backing. Anything that I do, I'm in a matter of words taken from my household. But I think they believe in me enough to know that, if the dream comes true, we all gonna be set and taken care of. And I'll also say that I have a lot of other people that believe in me and will, have tried to put me in position.
Yeah, because you're most of the folks that I see you working with, as far as your production is concerned and your videography is concerned, you're surrounded by a bunch of professional men who
Yes.
actually believe in you to give you a quality product, actually.
That's very true. So I want to,
Hmm.
shout out to Boom Click right now. They have stood behind me in a way that's very different from some of the other, clicks I've been a part of, where I can honestly say, without even sugarcoating it, sometimes I get around people that are not as comfortable in their own talent and feel threatened by the level that I bring to the table. And so while
Hmm.
I'm always like trying to play team player and trying to make sure everybody good, is like they stabbing me in the back where I can't even see it
Yeah.
sometimes, and until it's too late. But I will say that with them, it's been different because they are all two veterans in the game as well. They're all veterans in the game, so they all feel like, well, we all do something different, but we can all come together as a collective. And they like, oh, she speaks a star. We're gonna push her in the front. And I
Yeah.
love
I had
I
the
love
opportunity to work with all the guys, actually, in particular the two that you're working with right now. And I will tell you, they're top tier.
They are
They are
absolutely.
top tier, and they are definitely about their business, and anything less than professional might as well go ahead and step to the left.
Yeah, I have
Hmm.
stood, with my name high all by itself, but it's good to be a part of a collective where I know that everybody is comfortable with themselves and we all gonna shine. We all gonna shine.
Absolutely. And your outlook is your outlook. I keep wanting to call you Robin, but I know as she speaks, but I know you Robin.
Yeah, they know,
Your
everybody know I'm rapping.
your outlook to me is what it takes to be successful in this industry, despite the backstabbing, despite any jealousy, despite any competition. You hold your own. You don't look to the left or the right. You continue to look ahead, which is why you are doing so well. And you've been recognized by, Toledo Papers as being one of the top female MCs in the city of Toledo. And that was a voting process. So,
Yeah,
it's got to say something to you.
it's a process that I will say some people, feel slighted by it or whatever. But I will say honestly, one of the things that I know has contributed to my success in that is that I don't I have fans from all walks of life. I got white, I got black, I got male, I got female, I got young, I got old. I go into all these different venues and places and do these different types of performances. So, uh, you might see me anywhere, and then I will make the effort to say, hey, if you see me for Best of Toledo again, or if you see me running for anything, or if you see me selling anything, holler at me and just support me. I've been trying to foster a genuine, um, I don't want to call them fans, like you say, a support system. People that
Hmm.
will, directly buy from me and support me in whatever it is that I'm doing.
Well, I tell you what, for those who haven't been familiar with you up until now, they certainly should be after the Old West End Festival, because they drove you around about 10 city blocks. And you performed,
That
and I think
was so fun.
everybody, was absolutely supportive of what you did. I think that was kind of new that they did that this year, that they put you up, and I thought that was absolutely genius that they did that.
It was incredible. It was
Mm-hmm.
incredible. Shout out to Culture Clash. Shout out to Tim. Like I said, right now I'm broadcasting from Culture Clash. This is kind of like a home base for me. I am a crate digger, type of kid. So I was always in Boogie Records and Allied and Culture Clash, getting my CDs and getting my records. Like I said, I don't want to call myself a hoarder, but I've collected, a lot of stuff over the years, and these are my spots. So they know me and they love me. And I think that before they've had live bands play, and this was the
Mm-hmm.
first year that they had a rapper, and it was more that went into it than I imagined until the moment when it was starting, and I'm like, okay, this is bigger than I even could have imagined. There were so many people outside. I felt like Miss America. Everybody wants to wave at them. I'm like, this is huge. So I did my Scott song, which is called "Ode to Dear Old," and that was actually an adaptation of a poem that I wrote to the juniors and seniors of the last couple of years of graduating classes when I went to perform at Scott, and I really wanted people to hear it after I went to the festival last
Yeah.
year.
Uh-huh.
So I said, well, let me see if I can put this to a beat instead of it being a poem because it'll be slower. I feel like I get a better response if it's a rap. So
Yeah.
I sort of adapted it, and it just went crazy. It went Toledo viral. And so that was one of the things that I felt like really let them people identify with who I am, class of '05, Scott. And so they were so happy to hear me talking about Old West End and talking about my alma mater as I drove through those same streets that I walked, down to
Yeah.
get to school. So that was so cool.
So
So cool.
do you have that song up online anywhere? So in case we have some more Scott Bulldog fans out there, we have the Scott
South,
reunion coming up. Actually,
South,
we probably, whoever is out there that's running that Scott reunion this year, come on now, put her
yeah.
on, put
I
her
would love
on.
I would love to. It's out. It is on all social media platforms. It took me a while to put it out. I didn't want to attach it to my album, but I
Mm-hmm.
also kind of wanted to, group them together, but not, exactly in that way. I didn't want it to make it seem like I was using that to drive people to the album. I want young, old, whoever. I want, TPS or whoever
Yeah.
want to go be able to find just that song
Yeah.
and have access to it. So it's out. It is everywhere, and it's clean.
Okay.
There's no, it's a clean song. A lot of artists don't do that.
So Bobby Miller wants to know how he can get some physical copies. Bobby, that's how you can go get it. Go ahead and is it on YouTube?
So the old to dear old, I've not actually had a physical copy set for that single. It is
Mm-hmm.
available for stream, available for download. If I get a demand for physical copies for that single, I will produce some physical copies. I absolutely will.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I love to hear when artists do tribute songs to the city and they call out, certain popular people in the city, respected artists, other artists. I love to see that collaboration between artists. I can think of a few people that put a couple songs out like that, and I thought that was really dope. And so I think with you giving some praise to your old alma mater, Scott is, part of the old West End. Scott is a historic black school
yeah,
basically,
yeah.
and has graduated some very phenomenal people, which is why they still have the Sky reunion going on, and literally thousands of people, I want to say more than 100 show up, thousands show up. Duran continuously improving said you are dope as you know what.
Thank you. Thank you.
You are dope, you are dope. And then we got somebody very very special. She says you are fire, and of course she would say that because that's your mom's.
Hi,
But
mommy.
the fact of the matter is that you really are fire, and I'm very happy to see that you have so much success in your life. So since your mom is watching, what exactly, at what age, I want to say, what exactly brought you into the realm of rap, or your lyrical genius, if you will? What age were you, and who were you influenced by?
So I would say I've been rapping since I was like 7 or 8 years old. It's hard to
Hmm.
put an exact date on it. What I can tell you is that some of my earliest memories of me trying to produce music, involved me taking my mother's tapes, putting the tissue in them, and breaking them, so that I could record over them. Which I always tell this story. I use my talk boy. If you know Home Alone and how he had the recorder, I would take my
Right.
talk. I would let my mother's, I let an instrumental play on her stereo, and then I would record myself over a tape with the talk boy. And then sometime I would pass them out, or I would just go and let my friends hear what I had recorded.
Uh-huh.
And so when you do it like that, there's no, I mean, you can stop and start, but you kind of had to be good. Like you kind of had to get it out in one take.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I've had a hard time breaking myself from is like going into the studio and trying to get everything out in one breath. And people got like, you got punch in artists, and I'm not like that. I come from a different era. So but yeah, 7 or 8 years old. We talking like 94, 95. Oh God, I'm telling my own age, but like 1994, 95. And so, but my mother's a writer. My mother's a writer. So she is actually been a big influence in my poetry. She don't rap, but she's a poet as well.
Your mom might surprise you now. Don't test her.
Listen, oh no, please no.
So- all right. So being 7, 8 years old, when you went to school, did you have a hard time adjusting to, teachers like to have you do things a certain type of way, and most women, most men, most poets, most lyricists have their own idea about how to do things as far as preparation of the English language or how you make your delivery. Did you have a hard time adjusting, or did it all just kind of meld together for you?
No, I always been headstrong, so I was a bit of a troublemaker, as she can attest to while she in the comments. But I had teachers that encouraged me to do talent shows and oratorical contests. Like my mom still got some of my, trophies from winning oratorical contests, speaking contests for those who don't know what oratory is.
Right.
Uh, so it's always been that. Every now and again, somebody will go find an old tape of me performing at Kaiser or McTiger or the summer program or something like NYSP. I was always in the National Youth Sports Program. They
Mm-hmm.
they always had a talent show. I was in STEC, Self Expression Teen Theater. Shout out to Brother Washington. Mad Poet Society, which my mother is one of the original members of Mad Poet Society before it became a youth group, and I'm one of the
Yeah.
original youth in the program. So I've had mentors, teachers over the years that have nourished my talent, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. You have, and you know something, you speak very highly of your mom. And I think I have to give a shout out to your mom as well, because she's been so supportive of you for as long as I have known you. She's been very, very supportive. Your best friend in the background, you know what I'm saying? Even though
We
she's
are.
mom, she is very, very supportive. So speaking of that, let's switch over just a little bit. How your own children, how do you feel about them going into what you do right now? How do you feel about them going to the music industry?
So my eldest child, my daughter Brooklyn, she is absolutely not going to be in like on a forefront stage in that way. She's very reserved. She's kind of shy, more introverted. But I've been dragging her out with me to do shows and where she's my photographer. So a lot
Oh,
of the
okay.
pictures that you have seen of me in the last year and a half, that's her work. So she is B Sky is her photography company. She is
Okay.
still learning and growing in that. She's going back to school for it. And so, but she's pretty good. She's pretty good. So I would say that if anything, she'd be my permanent photog when I can get her out the house. My youngest daughter, she is a lot more like me in that regard. She is she writes, well, they both write, but I think that writing will actually come out and hit this. She does actually. She got a poem that she wrote that went semi-viral when I posted her on my TikTok.
Okay.
But she's amazing. I have my two nephews, and the oldest of them, I think that he's watching me, and he likes to do, karaoke. He's very into my music, and I think that may have some talents as well for that. And the
Mm-hmm.
youngest, it's just too soon to know for him. I got four
What
kids now.
you have four kids, and you yourself are a mentor to them because you're showing them the way, and I'm sure you're going to have your arms of protection wrapped around them. And so
And
let's go ahead and let's talk about that. As far as the industry is concerned, are you looking to stay as an independent artist? Do you want to eventually be picked up by a label? What are your future plans for the music industry?
well, right now, I would say, I'm happy to continue growing with Bone Click. Um, I think that we have a cohesion that's good for us if we can get pushed out on a more national level. I think the potential is there.
Hmm.
Uh, if I was to be like a part of a bigger label, it would have to be, I wouldn't turn down the right deal. It would have to be something that fit and still allow me to be who I am and stay true to myself. I'm not gonna be twerking. I ain't gonna, I'm gonna be who I am. So, and nothing against nobody who do, because we need all of that. We
That's
gotta have
right.
all, we gotta have a little bit of everything. It's just not. So I like to focus on people hearing what I got to say, and I think that yeah, I could see myself on a bigger platform with like Kendrick Lamar camp or J Cole camp, something like that. But like I said, it would have to fit.
Hmm. And so what's your how do I put this without sounding too technical? What advice would you give other young women that are trying to get into the industry? Because you talked about twerking, just not for you, maybe
Say,
for somebody else, but it's just not for you. What kind of advice would you give to the young ladies that are trying to get into the industry?
and what I'll say is that I might throw a song out there to make somebody else do it. You just ain't gonna see me do it. I
Right.
still like that kind of music. I still enjoy my dose of ratchet. I call myself the ghetto sophistic. I do, I'm all of these people. I'm always gonna stay true to who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a wife and a mother, and I'm not gonna, subject my children to me engaging in that type of behavior on that
Mm-hmm.
platform. I
Right.
may be outside doing something, uh, but for female artists, I would just say, try to pave your own way. Don't try to, get into, being in the studio caught up with these dudes that want to, you trade favors for studio time and beats and things, because it'd be a lot of that going on sometimes, and it just is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, just stay true to yourself, and you know, just don't have your hand out. Just try to pave your own way.
Exactly, exactly. Another comment from, is it Dino or Dino? It's Dino.
No,
Dino. Okay, I said okay. Dino said you are going to be on a bigger platform. It is written.
that's my husband. Thank you,
That's
love.
right. That's right. I agree with you. I agree with you. Another couple questions here. Let's talk about the upcoming shows that you have. Now, are you performing with Bloom Click, or you got some solo projects going on, or what?
So I have a lot going on. I'm everywhere. I got look, I actually wanted to make sure I wrote this down so I didn't forget anything. I have a jazz and poetry night at the Venus Art Trap. That's gonna be on June 28th. I have Gun, a friend of mine's album release party. It's gonna be at Papa's Tavern, 8 o'clock on the 29th. So those are back to back. You can catch either one of those days. I just did a couple um bigger shows. Like I did my album release party earlier in the month, and actually no, it was May 31st. But continuing to roll my album out, I'm going to do poetry and soul next month, July 19th,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna do pieces from my album. Some of the more intricate pieces, I'm gonna do them a cappella. So for those who missed the album release party, make sure that y'all come out to that, and it's gonna be a treat.
Hmm. So for everything that you just mentioned, I'm sure you'll have your schedule posted on one or two of your pages, if not all of them. Let's talk about where people can find you.
Absolutely. So I am, all my music is available under my stage name, She Speaks. The album is entitled The Last Lady Lyricist. It's 14 tracks of fire. I just need you to, if you listen to that first song, I guarantee you will want to carry through to the end. And there's something there for everybody. So She Speaks on all social media platforms. I am at She Speaks MC. and I'm still accepting bookings. I do have a lot of stuff going on, but if I can get out, then I absolutely will. So I'm trying to be, active, stay in people's faces so that I can continue to sell this out.
Absolutely. Well, you are a friend of Deborah Sue, which means you are now a friend to the show, Toledo to the world. And like I said, I've been following you and supporting you for more than a couple of years now, and I'm very, very proud of you. I'm proud of all your personal accomplishments, and I'm
Yeah.
proud of your musical accomplishments, and I'm sure you're going to have a lot more in store for you. And if anybody wants to reach out to She Speaks, make sure you inbox her, you message her. If you can't get through her, if you happen to get inbox me, I will direct you how to get in touch with her. But you should be able to reach her at She Speaks on all social media platforms. So, is there anything else, any special shout outs you'd like to give to anybody before we end the show? Because we've been on almost 27 minutes.
I just want to make sure that I thank you, give a huge thank you to everybody who did come out to the album release party, all the performers that showed up, showed out. It was, they gave me my flowers. Everybody that was there, it was a night to remember. It's very near and dear to my heart. Everybody that made it out, even those who couldn't make it out, they let me know, hey, I had something going on. I wish I could have made it. I appreciate you too. Everyone who has purchased merch, purchased the album, whether you purchased it online, whether you purchased it from me. Just thank you. Thank you to all my supporters. I already shouted out Culture Class, Boom Click, the family, and shout out to you. And I want to thank you too. You sent me some work, and I thank you very much for keeping me in mind all the time. That was something that kind of it was a good catch for me. So I want to thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're at the top of my list there, young lady. You are at the top of my list. We talk about food chain. You're at the top for me. And when I see an opportunity that I feel, I'm one of the people that I really fit the opportunity with the person.
That
Because a lot of times, believe it or not, I hold my business true to my heart, and my reputation is on the line a lot
that
of times, and I'm known to be a little bit tough, but I'm tough on purpose, because then it kind of shakes through and puts the diamonds at the top for me, so I know who to deal with, you know what I'm saying?
that
And so definitely I'll be happy to refer you at any given moment. I got some opportunities coming up for you too. We'll talk about that later. So
ready.
but anyway, it was an awesome pleasure having you on Toledo to the world. And anyone out there, listen, this is not just limited to Toledo, okay? I have a collaborative of about 13,000 people out there. So that's just followers. So, there's always more out there. So anyone out there that hears this voice, my voice right now, let me tell you, when I say, if you need to book this lady, whether you're in Chicago, or you're in Missouri, because I've been to all those places. You guys, you know me, and you know that I only work with very, very talented people, and this lady is one of them. Make sure you reach out to her. Now, don't come with that free stuff, okay? Because she needs to be paid wherever she goes. Okay, and I've been preaching that for some time now. These artists, it costs them money to do what they do. So make sure that if you want to book her, you come correctly, and you do it accordingly. Okay, so that's the last word from Deborah Sue. So, okay, guys, so we're gonna wrap our show up right now. We're at the 6:29 hour. Want to thank everyone who tuned in, everyone who has supported. Please continue to support Deborah Sue and Glass City Talent and Toledo to the world, because I'm bringing it to you. I have decided that from now on, we're coming straight through with the steam. Okay, and so appreciate your support. Appreciate you for being on Robin She Speaks.
Thank
And
you.
we want to
Hey,
encourage everybody to tune in with us next week. Next week we're going to have Jonathan Coleman on. We call him J. Cole in the industry, and he's going to be bringing some knowledge to everybody out there that wants promotion, marketing. If you want to get into some blogs and a couple magazines or what have you, he's the guy. He's my guy. I use him on many of the platforms that I actually use for promotion. He's going to be here with us next Thursday at 6 p.m. Make sure you tune in to Toledo to the World. So in the meantime, everybody, we're going to wish you all peace and love, and we will see you all next week. Thank you
thank you
again,
so much.
Robin.
Take care.
You're very welcome. Bye bye.